Bitcoin has been around since 2009, but it got media attention in late 2017 with its soaring high valuation. It was not just considered a big thing. Bitcoin valuation has also people pondering whether it is a step towards mass adoption. So can it? We will be discussing the future of Bitcoin in this video. Before you continue, take a quick second to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you remain informed whether we upload a new video. Although Bitcoin is quite famous, many people still are not aware of the concept. And before getting any further, it is important that our viewers are well aware of what Bitcoin is and how it works. Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency system which allows the users to process the transaction via a digital unit of exchange, which is known as BTC. This peer-to-peer cryptocurrency system was launched in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin is the most prominent cryptocurrency which defines this landscape. The system of Bitcoin is an assortment of computers which is known as miners or nodes. These computers run the code of Bitcoin and store the blockchain. Since all the computers running the blockchain have similar blocks and transactions, there is transparency in how these blocks are being filled with newer Bitcoin transactions. Therefore, no one can cheat the blockchain system. Moreover, Bitcoin tokens are stored using private and public keys that are complex letters and numbers associated with a mathematical encryption algorithm based on which the blockchain was created in the first place. With that said, each Bitcoin is a computer file that is stored in a digital wallet on a computer or smartphone. You can send an entire Bitcoin or just a fraction of one to your wallet and to other people as well. Every single transaction you make is recorded in a public list known as a blockchain. This allows for easy tracking of the history of Bitcoins to prevent people from spending coins they don't own or making copies. There are 3 ways you can get Bitcoins. 1. You can sell things and let people pay you with Bitcoins. Number 2. You can buy Bitcoins using real money. Number 3. You can mine or create Bitcoins using a computer. Bitcoin is built on blockchain, which is a distributed digital record. As the name implies, blockchain is made up of units called blocks and is lined in a body of data that contain information about each and every transaction, such as buyer and seller, total value, time and date, and a unique identifying code for each transaction. The entries are recorded in a chronological order, which creates a digital chain of blocks. As the blocks are added to the blockchain, they become accessible to people who wish to view it. A blockchain acts as a public ledger of crypto transactions. Because blockchain is decentralized, it cannot be controlled by any one organization. Consider blockchain as a Google Doc that anyone can work on, so nobody owns it and anyone who has a link can contribute to the blockchain. As the blockchain gets updated by other users on the network, your copy also gets updated. The idea of anyone editing the blockchain may sound risky. In reality, this is what makes Bitcoin secure and trustworthy. For a transaction block to be added to the blockchain, it goes through a rigorous verification process where the majority of Bitcoin holders verify the block. Unique codes are used to identify users' transactions and wallets. If these codes conform to the right encryption pattern, the block can be added. Now that you have a basic understanding of how Bitcoin operates throughout the network, let's now discuss how Bitcoin is gaining traction in this digital world. Recently, Twitter CEO created a buzz saying Bitcoin will be the single currency in the world in the next 10 years. This tweet came in early 2018, where Jack Dorsey said we would ultimately have a single currency, and he believes it will be Bitcoin. Dorsey said 10 years as an estimate, but it could even be before that. While this prediction is bold, Bitcoin is favored by 2 main criteria. It is a new type of monetary system, and it has technological advantages. Many governments are trying to use blockchain technology on which Bitcoin is built. And this state-of-the-art technology can help countries save billions of dollars by avoiding centralized banking systems. The Housing Minister of the United Kingdom released a report showing that the UK can save £8 billion every year by adopting blockchain technology. The USA also believes that being a crypto-positive nation can bring a lot of benefits to the country, as there will be better chances for financial abundance and consumer growth. Another important benefit that cryptocurrency Bitcoin has working in its favor is that it's managed to obtain value from network effects. Let's understand this in layman's terms. The more popular a platform or service is, the more value it generates. If companies like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat only had a few hundred or a few thousand users, there would be no value to them. It is because of their billions of users that these platforms generate multi-billion valuations. This network effect stands true for Bitcoin as well. More and more people are adapting to and using Bitcoin, which is why today it created this kind of stir in the global market. And Bitcoin can have a significant impact on the global economy. If the Twitter CEO's prediction turns out to be right, the global economy will change exponentially. And of course, it will be a change towards something better, something new. There are many ways Bitcoin can impact the economy. The days when companies and consumers use cash in everyday transactions is gone and has been for several years now. Almost all business transactions and most of every consumer transaction happens digitally, and they've started accepting a lot of online mediums that include cryptocurrency. Major companies like Tesla, Microsoft, BMW, JP Morgan, Square, Expedia, Coca-Cola, Burger King, and many others have started accepting cryptocurrencies. The reason why there's been a shift is that Bitcoin is an easy-to-use and safer transaction medium. The no-fraud approach of Bitcoin is especially great for businesses performing larger transactions. Additionally, we cannot completely eliminate third-party involvement. The transactions consumers conduct online through third-party platforms such as PayPal, Google Pay, Venmo, and Apple Pay, and the transactions are verified by the bank or any central institution. But in Bitcoin transactions, there is no interference from third-party services, as all transactions are verified in a decentralized system, which also makes it a quicker and easier transaction process. The largest roadblock for Bitcoin in today's current market is the lack of financial regulation and has raised concerns on an international level. This may be hard for you to believe, but even today, globally, about 1 in every 7 people has no bank account. These are mainly people from less developed countries, but you'll find them in developed countries as well. On top of that, many businesses still do not accept credit cards as their payment option, and crypto facilitates an easy and effective way for less developed countries to connect with the global internet economy. This can especially be beneficial for migrants who regularly send money back to their families in their home countries. Presently, international transactions come with certain fees, averaging at 9%. But with Bitcoin transactions, you can do international transactions for almost free. And with lower transaction costs, it allows more people an easier entry into the market. Having a great idea will not do anything if you fail to raise enough capital to start your business. Instead of convincing venture capitalists and banks to provide the money, startups can initiate something called an initial coin offering, or ICO, and bypass a traditional regulation, yellow tape. ICO is very much similar to an IPO, but in an ICO, the startup sells a percentage of Bitcoin to investors to fund the project. As consumers, you might think Bitcoin is only for businesses and the government. Wrong. As a consumer, you can also benefit significantly from Bitcoin. Like we discussed earlier, when you make payments through third-party payment providers, you are charged with additional fees, which vary from one company to another. But Bitcoin eliminates most of transaction costs, and even if you are asked to pay a transaction fees, the amount is very low. It is especially great when you have to make international transactions. According to a recent study, the top 100 global brands could lose up to $223 billion in a single data breach. How does that concern users? Hackers also target your personal information. And after multiple security breach incidents, privacy has been a major concern for consumers. This is where Bitcoin manages to stand apart from conventional payment methods. Traditionally, when you pay online for any product or service, you give the merchant your debit or credit card information. It makes you vulnerable to theft. Although many companies have taken a token approach, errors still occur. But Bitcoin is processed in a different way. When you pay for goods and services using Bitcoin, only the key and payment amount are shared with the merchant. You will not have to share any personal information. If hackers have to steal the information, they would need both private and public keys. Consumers who are aware of thefts going on have already adopted cryptocurrency and look for companies that have done the same. The ownership address of Bitcoin can only be changed by the owner themselves. Unless the thief has physical access to your system, they cannot steal the Bitcoin and send it to their account. As opposed to traditional currency systems, where you only need to provide a few layers of authentication to gain access, Bitcoin requires the person to have physical access. It is clear that a world with Bitcoin can benefit greatly. You get secure, easy, affordable, and more accessible transactions. While Bitcoin adoption has been rapid, it still has not reached mass adoption. So right now, we are far from this vision. In terms of the future of Bitcoin, we cannot make any predictions. Bitcoin is a highly volatile landscape. Not many people talk about what will happen with this cryptocurrency, and maybe that is a part of its appeal. Over the next 10 years, we could be at a place that would sound extreme to us right now, but it is very unlikely that its application will be restricted with one single use. Today, people will have a difficult time accepting Bitcoin as the internet's reserve currency. When you're making an online purchase, the underlying currency generally does not matter much. You just click a button or scan a QR code. So Bitcoin may evolve into the natural currency of the internet. And when you're using a digital coin that has finite settlement, it facilitates geographic agnostic commerce in an online scenario. The Bitcoin trend will continue. It is quite certain. The coin will continue to do what it has been doing all these years, and the network will continue to grow in value. We have already seen Bitcoin in sovereign wealth, pension funds, government accounts, and many prominent places. Today, there are around 20.5 million Bitcoin addresses, and by 2030, we can touch the 1 billion mark. With this rapidly growing adoption, this scenario would win. So, if Bitcoin has such strong potential, then why hasn't it already been in the mainstream market? While many businesses have started supporting the currency, many leading tech companies have not accepted it yet. In fact, companies like Apple and Google are planning to ban Bitcoin wallet apps as payment options. This is a big challenge for Bitcoin, which is hindering mass adoption. Another major drawback of Bitcoin is the slow processing speed. To provide digital security, the speed suffers. So there are some limits on the daily transaction, and sometimes a simple transaction can take a lot of time, even days. As the number of users increases, so is the waiting period. So Bitcoin needs to do some serious work on its processing speed if it wants a wider user base. With that, we have reached the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more interesting videos like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and most importantly, share. Until then, we will see you in the next video.